Hey team, Isaiah LeBron here with a video about being a savage. This is going to be a quick one because I just want to preface this by saying the principles in this video are literally will help you in all facets of your daily life and of course your business as well. So let's just hop straight into it. You guys know how important mindset is, but some people overlook simple things like being a savage and being a savage, especially at the stage where you guys are at now. When you're at the beginning stages, getting to your first 10K a month in cash is very, very simple. And sometimes it's actually very easy. It's just you have limiting blockers that are inhibiting you to reach those goals because you're not being a savage, right? You're not putting in enough work. So I just want to say that here. So let's dive into it. Being a savage mindset version 1. What is a savage? My mentor's definition. By the way, this whole framework was from Max and I's mentor, our mentor Jordan Lee. So shout out Jordan Lee. He bestowed this upon us. So shout out him. This is where we got it from. So my mentor's definition of being a savage is it's not the dictionary definition, but his definition and our definition is a man or a woman who is persistent in taking intense action in pursuit of worthy goals. Someone who views failures, mistakes, and conflicts as just part of the journey and lives life on their terms and opts out of living in fear of people, situations, or things, right? So you also have the mental fortitude and confidence that knows no matter what happens, you can handle it. And some of you guys, just with one-on-one conversations with me, you can probably extrapolate how I shine, sort of, how can I say this? You can see the mindset that I have towards Max and I's business and how we approach problems within your guys' business and our business as well. And you probably heard me say, literally just give us enough time and we're going to solve it, right? It's just a matter of time and a matter of persistence, right? And some of you guys don't have that mindset and you need to adopt that as soon as possible, because as long as it's within the realms of physics and reality, we can solve the problem, right? Especially in business. So if Oppenheimer can create a spectacle of an atom bomb, through complicated rocket science and physics and all these different things, we can solve our business issues. All right, so keep that in mind, guys. That is what being a savage is, and you need to adopt this mindset throughout your whole entire business career, right? So you're probably asking, well, why should we be a savage? Why can't we just let everything come to us? And why do we need to put in this much work to make our business work? Well, the reason why that is because, guys, you have to understand the market that we're playing in is very competitive. And people are trying to how I look at it, people are trying to take food off your plate by grabbing clients that should be actually working with you, right? So you have to utilize psychological leverages to make you work harder, right? If that makes sense. But I want to go into my short story a bit, where I came from, where I'm at now, and how this savage mindset propelled me into the situation I am in now. Okay, so the why. So, guys, I have no special skills. All my brothers and most of my family, including myself, has participated in the underworld economy. We're not going to talk about that, but it just goes to tell you, like, you don't have to have a crazy upbringing or connections to even make the kind of money that we're making, Max and I. So I never went to college. I failed most of my high school classes. I'm about average in intelligence. I do not come from money. No one in my family went to college except my sister recently, but she actually opted out. So the first picture is an image of my city right here, Reading, PA. This right here is the pagoda. So I was born in this city, and it was named one of the poorest cities in America a few years ago. And the second picture is the exact place I was working at part-time while building my first lead gen agency, Advanced Auto Parts. So if you're from America, especially the East Coast, you're gonna know what Advanced Auto Parts is, right? So I was working literally at this same exact store here while building my lead generation business. I was literally taking discovery calls and sales calls in the bathroom. I was sending emails while behind the clerk desk, right? So you guys need to want this bad enough. And I was willing to sacrifice my employment to propel the growth of my business. Why? Because I just adopted the mindset of being a savage, and that's what being a savage is. Okay. So yeah, it's kind of crazy that that I'm looking at this now because it brings up a lot of emotions. But guys, this is the second biz that I'm building with Max, and we are on track to do from this month is April 11th. We're on track to do 25K to 30K a month this month in revenue. That is around 20K in cash for this month. We're on track to do, and I partnered with Max almost a year ago now, and I'm confident we can get to 100K a month this year. And I'm building the great habits. I'm connecting with people doing 100K a month at my age, people doing $1.2 million a year at 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 years old. These are my friends now. And all because, the reason why we're here is because we take intense action and we just stay persistent, right? We're just completely savage. Not just me, everyone who has been inspiring to me and achieves great things is a savage in their own way, right? So that's the key piece there, right? Because, for example, my very close friend, he's going to become a doctor, right? So he's going through college. He takes tests every single week, and he works a lot, right? He works more than me, and he's going to become a doctor. But he's being a savage in his own right, and I love to see that, and that brushes off on me as well. Sorry if you hear the WhatsApp. Let me just mute this here. So a lot of entrepreneurs our age, once they start making 10K a month, they start putting their dream cars on finance, perpetual traveling, upgrading their lifestyle immensely. Honestly, depends what you want and what you value, and these things can definitely help you make more money because you are changing your paradigm through these purchases. You're in a new car, you're in a fancy new apartment, you're in a new environment, etc. And this can really bolster success if done correctly, right? So don't worry, guys, this is all going to tie in as we go into the end stages of this video. But my point of view on this is a bit different in the context of me trying to be a savage or me actually being a savage. Sure, I can get the car I wanted on finance, right? I can get that 86 Mercedes-Benz that I always wanted. I can put that on finance. I can buy it in cash if I want to. I can get a new apartment and pay for it in cash up front for 2 years. I can travel anywhere I want at any time. But I'm choosing to stay in the same city I'm in, the same car. I'm just being extremely lean right now because I need all my focus on our product and our clients, right? And I'm being a complete savage on that, and I don't care about anything else except pushing my business's boundaries and being a savage every single day. And I personally love it. I get a lot of fulfillment of doing that. And this idea I did get from Charlie Morgan, and so obviously I worked for him, so I, of course, his beliefs and point of views brushed off on me over the years. So, so I want to push my business boundaries so much, and I'm being a savage every single day, and I love it, and I have no FOMO. I have no FOMO of looking at other entrepreneurs, traveling the world, going to Dubai, going to South Africa, going these different things. Of course I want to go, but I don't have any fear of missing out on that because I know that I'm going to be in those places, right? It's just not right now. That's just the season that's not the season I'm in at the moment, right? I'd rather be at my desk for 10 to 12 hours a day, working relentlessly on our product and our clients, right? And making sure they're getting results and making sure we're building a product so good that it's irrefutable, right? And I'm seeing all this pay off, and that's just a season of life that I'm in. For example, and this is just my point of view of myself being a savage. Okay, so you want to make sure, guys, you want to feel you don't want to derive pleasure from these external things, right? We've all heard this before, right? We want to feel 100% confident in ourselves because, guys, if you look at all these different people and they're being a savage in their own right, or maybe they're traveling and whatever have you, it kind of, especially if you're in the beginning phases, you don't have that much cash coming in, their values can be your values, and that is a grave mistake because you can work on something for the next 5 years and get that thing, but now you realize I didn't even want this thing. So you need to have value. You need to have your values first, and one of the values should be being a savage. And what that means is you're in a season of life of building, right? And you need to gain these skills. You need to gain experience, and you need to be relentless into getting your first 10, 15, 20K a month in cash. And in order to do that, you have to hunker down and you have to be a savage. But you also have to connect with other people. I'm not saying go monk mode or anything like that because we don't want to be monks, right? The reason why we're building this business is to live a good life, right? You can still do that. But I'm saying the majority of your time should be put towards your business, should be put towards marketing and sales. Point blank, period. All right. So the thing about this is what contributes to being a savage is getting rid of distractions and laser focusing on the one thing or the top two things that gets you to the next level, right? And if you're not at 50K to 100K a month yet, we're not even there. We're still focusing on sales and marketing, right? Booking calls and closing calls. That's all we're focused on. And that's what that's literally what you should be focused on as well. All right. So my reflection so far of being in the season of life that I'm in is I understand my triggers, what triggers me. I understand what action I need to take, and taking action instead of sitting back and thinking and pondering all the time, right? And setting the intention so I can take that action relentlessly and effortlessly. All right, so that's number one. And number two is identifying your priorities based on your values, as we just spoke about, right? Your priority might be just staying in your office all day and working on one thing because you love that thing so much. You love it so much that you don't care about hanging out with other people. You don't care about traveling. You don't care about these things just because you derive so much pleasure from the work, right? And that is a value, deriving pleasure from your skill. But if you look at other people and they don't have the same value as that, but you're trying to mimic them, it's going to cause a lot of cognitive dissonance inside your mind. So you really want to understand what your priorities are and make sure those priorities are based on your values, okay? Because we can act in accordance with priorities that are not in accordance with our values, right? And this is why a lot of people are unhappy once they get, well, whatever, everything they ever wanted, right? Number three is understanding the limiting beliefs that are holding you back and engineering certain beliefs to serve us, right? So you guys want to sit down and understand, okay, what beliefs are not serving me anymore, root out those beliefs and instill new beliefs on that. And if you need help with this, just message me and we'll go through a quick exercise to do this. I won't do it today just because this video is getting a bit long already. And you guys need to understand second, third, and even fourth order consequences based on the action that you're taking, right? So you need to start changing your behavior by understanding the consequences of that behavior you are participating in. So if you haven't been practicing these things, these reflections, or even reflecting in general, I invite you to start this. And this is like going to the gym. At first you're not going to like it, but once you get in the rhythm of things, you start liking the pain. You start understanding like, whoa, there's more to me than what meets the eye, and you might uncover things that you never thought that were attributed to yourself, right? So hopefully that makes sense. And some recommended readings / audiobooks that I recommend that you should read or listen to is David Goggins' You Can't Hurt Me, Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, Stephen Schwarzman, What It Takes, and Hagakure, by Yamamoto Tsunotomo. This is one of my personal favorites. It's a little bit out there. It's a little bit more on the Eastern philosophy side of things. So there might be some things you don't resonate in Hagakure, but it's a book that I live and die by, and it's an alternative way of looking at daily life and comprehending life's fickleness, but using that to your advantage to actually get the work done, all right? Because, guys, to be honest, life is finite, and we have to work relentlessly to get to our goals, and the faster we get to our goals, the more life we can live at our ideal state, okay? So why would you want to be a savage? That's a good question. You will get a lot done, and the market rewards action. The market does not reward you thinking and pondering back and pontificating, right? The market rewards action, and you need to provide what the market wants, right? And what the market needs. Keep that in mind. And with persistent intense action, you can attain mastery, and gain the ability to create. So guys, what we're doing here, like sure, we're giving you the copy, we're giving you the sales training, we're giving you all the scripts and whatever have you, we give you all the software. But the paradigm that we are instilling in you guys, it will literally carry on forever as long as you are willing to adopt that. Right? So with the paradigm that we're giving you, it's going to allow you to create your own systems, your own paradigms, right? Your own philosophies. And that is when breakthroughs really start to happen. And this is really, being a savage is being the most powerful version of you and being aligned with who you really want to become. right? So imagine you're 80 years old, sitting on a beach, sharing stories with your loved ones. Two things. What would you like to have experienced? So guys, like literally write this down and keep this on a sticky note somewhere that you can see it every day. What would you like to have experienced? Create a vision here, right? Maybe you own the yacht and you're very proud of that because you worked hard to get that yacht, and you can have family on that yacht and they're having a good time, and maybe they've never been on a yacht, but now you can give them that opportunity. You bought a house for your children, right? You moved to a different country, you built a personal brand. You had these great experiences. Number two, what are 3 things you worry about now that you will not care about in the future, right? This is very important, right? So we might think like, oh, this is tough. Like, I'm not getting any positive responses on my campaigns. I'm on my 8th to 10th campaign. Nothing seems to be working. I'm not closing any deals, but I'm putting in all the work every single day. I'm putting all the intense work every single day. And I'm just worrying that I won't be able to make 10K a month, right? You're not going to be worrying about these things because in retrospect, things are really, well, you can see, looking back, things are just not what it seems, and you going through the trenches, you going through these issues, these problems that you perceive to be a mountain to overcome, once you finally achieve what you want to achieve, or if you just keep going through that, you're gonna look back on it and say, wow, I was really panicking. I wasn't in the peak state. I wasn't in the ideal state to think rationally. And you kind of laugh at these things because you can see your old self panicking, but you trusted yourself, and now your future self can thank your past self with sticking in there, if that makes sense, right? So that's very important. So back to the present now. All right, once you've done that exercise, now we have to bring ourselves back down to right now, back to the present, right? So two things here. What you want to experience, because money is going to help you get that, and it's going to help you get peace of mind, right? This is why we build businesses, is because we know that money is very important and it gives us extraordinary experiences, and directly, sure, money doesn't make us happy, but the experiences that money can bestow upon us is what makes us happy, right? And what is what makes us fulfilled, because we can have those experiences because we have that money to buy or experience that experience, right? Now, focus on the short term. By the end of the 12 months, how much profits do you want to make? And make this realistic, but be ambitious with it, right? So, for example, with Max and I, we want to make 100K a month by the end of this year. Now, that's very ambitious, but it's very realistic as well, because we're on that run rate, right? We're going to that run rate, and we have the necessary systems, and we have a paradigm to get to 100K a month, and we're relentless, and we're persistent. We're a savage, right? So we can see a clear pathway to that, but it still is an ambitious number compared to where we're at now. Okay, so write that down. Write that down. Where do you want to be at the end of the 12 months? How much profits do you want to make? Be realistic, but be ambitious, okay? Now, what are you going to do by the end of this month to get closer to that 12-month goal? You're going to die trying because you're a savage, right? So what are you going to do by the end of this month? And you have to make sure that's completed, or you're going to die trying. And then what are the things you're going to achieve by the end of the week that contributes to the monthly goal, that contributes to the yearly goal, all right? Know the things you are doing are giving you the freedom to experience your true vision, your true life that you really want to live, not what's been programmed into you, because most of the things that you really want have been programmed into you, and that's not what you really want, right? So you really have to do some self-discovery, understand, again, what are your values, so you can create goals and outcomes based on the values that you have, and not by other people's values, right? Because you might not want a supercar. You might not want the penthouse. You might not want to go to Dubai. You might not even want to travel. You might just want to have a nice house to, I don't know, raise chickens or something like that. Maybe that's what you value. But you're looking at, the entrepreneurs in our space, the internet marketers in our space, and, they might be flashy. They might, show you certain things, but, and you might envy those things. And then you're like, oh, I want that. And then you start working to that thing. And then once you get that thing, you're like, I don't even value having a nice car. I don't even want this thing, right? So you need to understand what your true vision is and what you truly want. And you're going to hear me say that a lot because it's very, very important, right? People say one thing, but once you actually sit there and understand and go through the root causes of your values, things start to change, okay? Overcoming. Now, you want to overcome certain things because that's what business, that's what life is overcoming things and triumphing. So write out a list of all your perceived weaknesses. Right next to them why that gives you an advantage. So for examples, some examples here. So my business will fail. That's the doubt. But how does it make me powerful? I am focused on success so I can take more action than needed to get the success I want, right? So evidence of why this doubt, my business will fail, evidence of why this doubt is stupid. Well, the reason why this statement is stupid is because I will take the action. I will take the action necessary to achieve the outcome, and I have the support needed for success, and I have all the tools needed for success, right? So another example, glasses. How it makes me powerful? I look smart. Evidence of why this doubt is stupid, right? Lots of successful people wear glasses. Small physical impairment that is easily fixed will not affect my mindset. Another doubt, I don't have case studies. And how does it make you powerful? I will commit more to making this a success and have more time to prospect and have more time to create bespoke growth plans to my prospect. That is a great superpower. When you can go to your prospect and say, hey, I'm just starting out. This is my first business. You're potentially gonna be my first client, meaning I can literally work full time for you for the next 3 months and get you to your goal a lot closer, right? Because I can dedicate all my time and energy into growing your business, right? And inevitably, if I grow your business, which I'm going to, it will grow my business, right? And then you can collect that case study on the back end, and then you can start charging retainers, okay? But that's another story for another day. Evidence on why this doubt is stupid. Many successful projects are sold without case studies. And there's multiple wins in the channel, in the channels that we're in terms of our mentorships and things like that. There's a lot of wins that prove that you don't need case studies, okay? And we're actually a testament to that as well. Avoidance. So a lot of people avoid certain things, and it's just because humans are naturally pain avoidant creatures. So we want to address this fear head on. The powerful things about us humans is we have the ability to use metacognition, thinking, having thoughts about our thoughts, right? So we can address certain fears head on, right? So 3 things here. Write out the worst thing that you can actually imagine happening. Now sit for a minute. Even if this happens, I will still be okay. Just repeat that to yourself. The worst case scenario happens, I'll still be okay. Right? Now write out why you will still be successful even if this happens, right? For example, I can give you a quick example. For me, the worst thing that can happen in my eyes is going completely broke and I have no family to help me, no friends to help me, nobody wants to help me, and I go homeless, right? And I lose everything, I go homeless. I'm literally at rock bottom. I'm on the streets, I'm begging for money. This is the worst case scenario, right, that I'm thinking about. And I sat for a minute. I'm like, am I okay with this? I'm not okay with that, but will I be okay? And I was like, yeah, I'll be okay. It'll suck, but I will still be okay. I just kept repeating that to myself. And obviously you don't want to make these things reality, but we just want to say to ourselves, I'm okay with this, because we are constantly running from our fears. We never want to address them. We never want to pull up things. But once you pull up these things, you're going to have a lot of anxiety, a lot of nervousness around these things. But once you can understand, like, hey, I'll still be okay, even if this worst case scenario happens, you can start moving forward without that fear inhibiting you, right? So in this case scenario, right, total rock bottom, homeless, on the streets. Now I'm writing out, why will I still be successful even if this happens? Well, the reason why I'll still be successful if this happens is because I'm at rock bottom. That means there's no place to go but up. There's no place to go but have upside, right? And when you're at rock bottom, sometimes that's the best place to be, because now you have clarity. Now you have time to make things happen. And as long as you're willing to put energy and time into a specific thing so you can get out of that rock bottom, you're going to propel all the way up, and then you can create new standards so you never get back to that point again. But because you experience that thing, God forbid you don't, but because of you experience that thing, now you understand what it means to be at rock bottom. Now you understand what it means to be at that worst case scenario. Now you're not going to be scared of it anymore. Now you're not going to have fear around it anymore because you experienced that, right? And I'm not saying experience that thing so you don't have that fear anymore. I'm saying you need to understand these things and understand that you'll still be okay and that there's pure upside even if the worst case scenario happens. Okay, so the worst case scenario might be different for you, but write that down. Okay, so after that, after you address the fears head on, you have to activate savage mode. Now, how does this work? You control your mind. Your mind does not control you. Draw the image, right? Reread about what it is to be a savage. The books that I recommended, and the audiobooks I recommended, go read those and listen to those, and that is what being a savage is all about. Now, write out what behavior you exhibit when savage mode is activated, right? Because savage mode is a season of life, guys, right? So write out what behaviors you exhibit when savage mode is activated, and that constitutes your principles and the format. So I am, I can, I will, right? I am this. I will do this. I can do this, right? Do what's needed. Behave how you want to. Your savage mode principles, right? Your values. And then once you have those things set in place, now you can give reason. Because give reason, you have done this before. Give yourself evidence so you can act in accordance to your principles and values. Is what I'm trying to say here. Sorry, I was getting confused. And then acknowledge how that makes you feel as well. So some examples here. I am confident I will achieve the success I desire because I am in 100% control of the work that I put in. When I set up my business, I had less skills and resources, but when I did the work and stayed confident and stayed persistent, this makes me feel confident. 2, I can do the hard and boring work when required because I know if I continue to do the right things will happen. By working hard on my last offer without financial return, I wanted to give me skills and a network to be more successful in this biz that we're building here. And this makes me feel good. So you have to control your fight responses. You have to master your emotions, and you have to understand what triggers you and what to do when you're triggered, right? So for example, when I am triggered, I will repeat this mantra and deeply breathe. All is well, exactly how it's supposed to be. You can turn this on and off in biz in terms of being a savage and being in your savage mode season of life. You can turn this all on and off. Or you can create one for your whole life, right? I know people that have been in savage mode for the past 5 years. They never stopped. One of my mentors, Marquette Burton, he was a tech entrepreneur. He's been in savage mode for the past 15 years, right? He gets like 5 hours of sleep, but he's pushing his life and business forward. And he's been in savage mode again for the past 15 years. So you can really cultivate this season of life and have it for a prolonged period of time. Now, it might not be sustainable, but it depends what kind of person you are, all right? But usually we just utilize this as a tool to exhibit a season of life that we're in, okay? And then here's some 10 insights that people don't share based on my own experience and being in biz and friends and being friends with wealthy and successful people. When you get financial freedom, it's likely your perfect day will change. Much of what you do now is situational on how much money you have, right? So keep that in mind. Very important stuff to understand. Most initial financial success is driven from ego and insecurities, right? Past child traumas. You can get rich doing this. You will grow, and growth is a sacrifice. You have to sacrifice some things. And so at one stage, you have to pay back the debt. You don't want the debt to be too big. That's why I work on money and mind in parallel. It's much easier to do the inner work to feel good. So what I mean by this is you can sacrifice the inner work and all these different mindset things and just work relentlessly, but you're going to have to pay that debt back in terms of being burnt out or being unfulfilled, right? So that's why we work on mindset and put in the work necessary, and we do that in tandem. So most people that are rich inside are dead. Most people that are poor are too. It's much easier to work on fulfillment when you have free cash flow and time, right? So it's very important to have cash flow and then when you have time, because you can be easily fulfilled. You will not regret the pursuit of excellence, especially if you do it in an awareness state of mind. Life's so much better with money. When you get it, you realize how limited you were without it. And this is true. This is so true, man. Most people who make money think of themselves as number one and treat business more objectively than most. Treat business like a game. Do not go on an emotional roller coaster. Don't take things in business personally. How I look at it is literally my LLC is literally legally it's a different entity than me. So if a person says, oh, this pitch sucks, you suck, when they say you, I'm not thinking about, they're not talking to me. Even if they are talking to me, that's not how I think about it. They're talking about the business, right? And so obviously the business is you, but we want to use, again, those psychological leverages to keep propelling us forward and not succumb to our doubts and fears. You are not making the progress you want because you are not taking the action, right? Now you might be taking the action, but you're not taking the right action. And if you're not, if you don't know what the right action is, message us. We'll tell you what the right action is in terms of what stage of business you are at. Number 9, false view, believing you need to avoid making mistakes, failing, or having conflict. This is a part of growth. Growth is progress, and progress is fulfillment. The faster you fail, the faster you will gain fulfillment, okay? Best thing about having money is you get to work on things that truly matter to you, and that's a life worth living, right? So some takeaways here, guys, is ask yourself questions and reflect on a daily basis. What is the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary, right? So what is the most important thing that I can be doing right now to make more money or improve client relationships? Post a sticky note on the screen. What would a savage do, right? What would Isaiah do? What would your mentor do, right? Insert person. What would this person do? What would a savage do, right? So keep that in mind. Write that down. Put it on a sticky note on your window somewhere. Keep that in mind. Keep that top of mind, right? And then print the definition of a savage or write your own. What you think a savage is or what you think a savage might be for yourself. But don't give yourself a way out, right? And that's why people fail in business. That's why people fail in life, because they give themselves a way out. They give themselves a back door. Hey, just in case if this doesn't work out, I can go out the back door. I can go out the back end, right? And usually they do go out the back end because it's a possibility, right? You have to make failure, literally, in terms of an overall, not failure. You have to make quitting that's just not a way out. That's just impossible, okay? So keep that in mind. Because as long as you're in the game, you're going to play. And then some insights that made me, that's helped me to be more practical is the things that are important in my life fall into 2 categories: my money and my mind, right? And then family, relationships, all that goes into both money and mind, but in certain different ways. And that's a conversation for another day. So that was a long one, guys. Hopefully you found some value in this, and I'm going to try to make these videos more concise for you guys. I'm still learning here, just like you guys are learning. So hopefully this helps you push your business forward. And if you have any questions, let me know. And let's get into savage mode, gents.